Jane Burgermeister is a journalist from Austria, and she has written criminal charges against various criminals, including David Nabarro of the United Nations, Dr. Margaret Chan of what I call the World Homicide Organization, the WHO, President Barack Obama, and various other individuals.
My name is Jane Burgermeister and I live in Vienna, Austria. I worked here as a journalist. I've worked for a number of publications, including for the British medical journal Nature, The Scientist and Reuters Health, and more recently for Renewable Energy World. I have a degree in English from Edinburgh University and worked for a medical journal here for about almost 2 years. In February of this year, I found out that Baxter sent contaminated material from its facility in Orth-on-the-Donau to 16 laboratories, and I filed criminal charges. I did this because the Austrian Health Minister, Alois Stöger, did not announce any investigation or give any press release that publicized what had happened to the general public. And here we are standing outside the Austrian Health Ministry. In May of this year, Alois Stöger revealed to Parliament that 72 kilos of vaccine material was contaminated with the live bird flu virus, and that he had sent only vets to inspect the laboratory, claiming that it was an offence against the veterinary code, when it was actually an offence against the biosecurity level 3 regulations. The live bird flu virus was supplied to Baxter by the World Health Organization and was sent from Baxter's facilities in Orth-on-the-Donau to 16 laboratories in the Czech Republic, in Slovenia, in Austria and in Germany. Luckily, a staff member in the Czech Republic tested this vaccine material on ferrets and found that the ferrets died and alerted people to the danger of this material. I filed criminal charges against Baxter for contaminating the 72 kilos of vaccine material in April, and the public prosecutor, or the state prosecutor here in Vienna, did instruct the police to investigate, and I was summoned. However, the fact is it's now the end of September almost, and nothing has been done. No significant arrests have been made. There's no sign that Baxter has been forced to implement independent or adequate testing or trials to ensure the safety of its swine flu vaccine. So I have the impression that the police have been reined in. Some of the key personnel have been forced to resign and replaced by people who appear to be associated with this whole group of pharmaceutical companies, banks, etc. behind this whole scheme. Here we are outside Baxter's headquarters in Vienna. Baxter Bioscience is located in the Landstraße, Hauptstraße 99 in a shopping center. You can maybe see that C&A, Reno and various other shops are located in this center, in a very nondescript place. It's hard to believe that this is the company that was responsible for contaminating 72 kilos of vaccine material with the live bird flu virus, and which nearly triggered a pandemic. I found out myself from a local paper. It wasn't in the mainstream media, it was in a local newspaper. A neighbor showed me this newspaper report which said that 36 people had to go to hospital because they might have caught the bird flu due to this contaminated material. The reason is, I believe, to trigger laws which allow the World Health Organization to declare a pandemic level 6 emergency. This allows the World Health Organization to assume huge powers over the health services and police services in its member state countries, and obviously also to sell huge quantities of the vaccines. I don't believe profits is the only issue. I believe these vaccines are going to be extremely dangerous for people to take. It will result in huge numbers of deaths and injuries, and this will allow the World Health Organization and the UN to set up one world government which takes control over the shattered, collapsed societies of Europe and North America and so on. We can see here the UN is trying to present itself as being a benevolent organization that is working for the interests of all people in the world. But this is the reality of the UN. High security complex with barbed wire, chains, and during the week there's security guards standing here. I think they're actually armed, checking everybody's passes and ensuring that nobody can get into this building unless they have the authorization.
Hello. We are filming footage. Can we do some filming inside? No?
The UN and the World Health Organization seem to be the government bodies or vehicles that this group of bankers, the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, are using to gain control of the political mechanisms of power over the whole world. To do that, they have to destroy the national governments first. They have to destroy national military and police, and they can do this through a pandemic level 6 declaration which entitles them to take over the police forces, the military forces, and also the health services and key government functions. So they can basically dissolve national governments, take control of that, and integrate those governments into a much bigger entity which is run by the UN and the World Health Organization. The control of the media is such that even today most people in Austria have no idea that Baxter contaminated this material in their high security facilities in Orthen the Donau. They are not aware therefore that the vaccine that they're going to be expected to be take from Baxter in just a few weeks' time here in Austria could also be contaminated. Do you think the swine flu pandemic is very dangerous?
No, I do not think so, because I'm vegetarian.
Recently, there has been copies of documents from the French government have been obtained, which show that the French government is planning a forced mass vaccination of its entire population, starting from the end of September and lasting 4 months. And this vaccination will take place in special vaccine centers. Some of them are supposed to be secure centers. They will have locks. The vaccines will be administered by pandemic teams. It does sound almost surreal and bizarre. However, the facts are that this legislation is in place. The international health regulations and the national pandemic plans allow the World Health Organization to take control of countries. Every indication is that this group of people is determined to carry through their plan. They have anyway destroyed our economy. We're facing a tremendously difficult period from September onwards when banks will increasingly fail. They have taken away sources of food. They're increasing the likelihood of famine. Every indication is that because of the truth about 9/11 coming out and Obama's not being entitled to be the president, that they really do want to move forward with a mass cull of the population in the coming months, and they really do intend to use these vaccines to do it. They will try, first of all, to get people to take it voluntarily, and when enough people have taken it voluntarily, they will have sparked a pandemic by injecting these poisons and viruses into people. Then when the pandemic starts, they will then try and use this as an excuse to force people to take this vaccination. I believe this will happen around December and January, that they will move from voluntary to forced vaccination. So that's what I believe could happen. Do you know there are laws in place that can force you to take it?
No. Where are the laws like this?